Shalom, 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 shalom. All of you ox and a cuddy um, out there, beloveds, set apart in Quadesh, the set apart ones, the select few, the chosen ones. Welcome back to the channel, to the station, to the account, whatever you want to call it out there in YouTube land, YouTubeville, right? Right. Um, I have another great message, great revelation, great confirmation that I received um, from on high, from the highest of highs, from above, from Yahushua HaMashiach, about Yahushua HaMashiach, for Yahushua HaMashiach. And all praises, honor, worship, and esteem and exaltation to Yahuwah, Alua, the Most High Abba, for putting this word on my heart posture, on my heartstrings to come before you and deliver and speak about and and talk this sermon out with you all. I'm I'm elated to be here, and you know with that being said, let me show you guys what the studies will be about today. Right, I'm gonna pull this Strong's Concordance right here, so I have it in the general area, the vicinity. So I'm here for Quadesh 9 and Yom number 10, which is Pagan Day Wednesday, right? You see that? And you see the topic of discussion is, let's see if I can get that in the camera here. You see that? Mighty men. Mighty, is it? Yeah. Mighty men today. And we got 2 Samuel and First Chronicles that we'll tap into and chime in on that. And then I got the Strong's Concordance numbers. It's describing and explaining where I learned of the name Emmanuel, which I sport, which I showcase right there in the description. You can see my name there, and it's the same name that was given to Yahushua HaMashiach, our Messiah, our Mashiach. He's the mightiest man that there ever was, the greatest man known to mankind, and not just any man, but an immortal man. He's immortality, spiritual being, heavenly being. And his might is what got me out of some things. I have a lot that I can attest to, seeing the moving mighty strong hand of Abba, of Yahuwah in my lifetime. But I want to keep this as much as possible, keep this about Yahusha. So let's crack open the Strong's Concordance for those of you who got it and can keep up. I'm going to stroll over there. I'm going to go to the Hebrew section. I want to give another breakdown of the name, the mighty name, the name above all names. There's none like it, there's none beside it, there's none above it, right? Yahushua HaMashiach, Emmanuel. And it also breaks down Yahuwah's name. It breaks down both names practically, basically, at the same exact time. So I want to go to H Hebrew 162 right now. Let me go scoot on over there. You see this? It says A-H. A-H. It's like, you know, that whoa moment. Like, right? Like, gotcha, I got this. That wow moment, right? That we have as humans, as people, right, in general. It says a primitive word expressing it as an exclamation, like, oh my goodness, like people like to say, oh my goodness gracious, right? Like people like to say, alas, or behold, the sight of Emmanuel. Behold, behold, lo and behold, the sight, the might of Yahushua HaMashiach, Emmanuel, a mighty man. He was and is and forever will be. And that's H162 right there. We're gonna circle back. We're gonna circle back to that. Let's go with H177. It says WISH. I need more clarity, clarification, and verification that word is pure lip, pure language, clean lip, clean language. But I want to say desire in this case for studying and research purposes. Desire of Yahuwah. They put a different name there, but desire of Yahuwah, an Israelite. So if you put it together, an Israelite desire. An Israelite desire of Yahuwah. The mightiest desire that there ever was is Yahushua HaMashiach, Emmanuel. Right? Right. You can see it. You go right above it to H176, presumed to be construct or genitival form of awe. In awe. Y'all getting that? You feeling it? In awe, shortened for desire. H185, which shows awe, longing, desire, pleasure, right? Desiring after, pleasant pleasure. They have the LUST word there too, but that's neither here nor there. But H177, an Israelite desire of Yahuwah. And when Yahushua HaMashiach's might was on display, he himself was carrying himself as an Israelite. He carried himself like so, like an Israelite. Let's continue. Let's continue to grow here. Right? Let's do H253. It says, oh, there it is again. Oh, expressive or surprise. That aha moment. Like, aha. Now I see. Now I know. Now I get it. Alas. Where have you been this whole time? You know? Like that. H2 53. So H162 is AH in the Hebrew Strong's Concordance. H253 is AH in the Hebrew Strong Concordance. H177 is UAL. 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 They spelled it UEL, but we all know, and we don't got to go down that rabbit hole, down that foxhole, but we all know that it's UAL for the ending portion of Emmanuel. We took care of the middle and the end of the name Emmanuel. You got AH, you got UAL. We're going to keep filling in the blanks. So, bear with me. Hang in there, stick in there, right? Right. So let's go, I'm going to skip down a little more. Let's go over to H1888. H1888. Let's go all the way over there and see what we find there. Boom. There is AH again. Lo and behold, even so, right? HA. They got an HA right there, but it's really AH. Lo and behold, AH. Even so, so shall it be. Right? Let it be so. So be it. Right there. AH. Now, let's take you one further. Let's take you down. Let's keep putting it together. This is just what I was shown by the Ruach HaKodesh. This is just the way I was led. This is the way Yahuwah's set apart spirit dawned on me. I can't speak for everyone else. All I can do is put it out there, for it to be, indulged, so it can be planted, and it's out there in the open. Straightforward, frank, modest and transparent. So here we go. Let's go to H5920. H5920. Let's keep putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Right. H5920. All. AL. And we know what all stand for. We know what it means. AL is mightiest of mighty ones. Mighty. Might. That's what the topic of discussion is today. That's the subject at hand today. That's the task we're going to complete. That's the mission. That's the assignment. That's the appointment. Mighty men. And we're covering, I have to give the credit and the due to the mightiest man that ever walked the face of the planet Earth, the Arat. And that is Yahushua HaMashiach Emmanuel. Properly, the top, specifically, the highest. The mightiest and the highest. The most high. Above. High. Aloft. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the 500 series. Starting at H539. And we're gonna go up to 544. Okay? So let's get over there. 539. Aman. AM A-N. Properly, to build up or support. To foster as a parent or nurse. Figuratively, render. Firm, to be or to be firm or faithful, to trust or believe, to be permanent or quiet, morally to be true or certain, once, by interchanging, for, to go to the right hand. See, this is what throws people for a loop. This is what throws people for a loop. This is this is what gets their panties in a bunch. When Yahuwah talks about the right hand, when Yahusha ascended up to be seated at the right hand of the Father, right? The Son ascended up to the right hand of Elua Elohim. It's stating right here. It even has a witness, which is Isaiah 30 and 21. This is in the Strong's Concordance now. That's just in the Strong's Concordance. You follow me? So here we have to go to the right hand. So if you stand outside, I mentioned this in the prior video. If you stand outside and it's nighttime and you shine the flashlight against your home or your house or your place of residence, and you're in that flashlight, or you shine that flashlight against somebody else's body, their silhouette is going to show against that flashlighted area, surrounding area, that region where you're shining that flashlight at. It's going to show your body, your vessel, your temple moving, and your shadow emulates you. Your shadow is immaculate as you, as beautifully and wonderfully made as you are. It's a direct reflection of you. You and your shadow are united. You see that? Like if it was dark in here and I have to turn on a lamp and I just wave my hand in a dark room with just the lamp on, I'm going to see my right hand waving. I'm going to see my right hand just just flashing all about. You know how when you're younger, right? When you're small and somebody's cracking a joke and kidding around and playing around and they're making these hand symbols, right? They got this, what do you call it? A projector. They got a projector shining against a board and they're making all of these funny little rabbit gestures with their hands, making frog gestures or whatever have you. And you can see the shadow, the silhouette of them. It's still the same person. It doesn't make a difference. Nobody can mimic you, the person. It's what your calling is. No one can hijack your calling or chop or screw your calling. Your calling is specifically designed for you. So if a person is doing that in front of the projector, it's still that person, even though it looks like it's not, or it appears that it's not. It appears to be something else. It's just like those people that hold up them puppets and they be speaking for that puppet, right? Just because that puppet is talking and it's in a different tone or a different pitch or different, voice tempo than the person that they sit next to, it's still them. The right hand of Yahuwah, Elua Elohim, is Yahusha HaMashiach. On that same throne, that one throne. Here's my right hand. Here's my left hand. If my right hand reaches out and smacks you on the cheek and you turn the other and I smack you on the cheek with my right hand again, it's still my right hand. And I'm still the same person that smacked the cheek. And that person, even though they turned their other cheek, and I smacked the right, I smacked the left, it's still the same person. Don't let that go over y'all's head. To go to the right hand. Hence assurance, believe, bring up, establish. Be faithful, of long continuance. Father of continuity. Y'all remember we covered that? Father of continuity. Be steadfast, be sure, surely, trusty, verify, nurse, nursing father, trust, put trust, turn to the right. Be assured, believe, be faithful. And that's just the first 4 letters of Yahusha's name, Emmanuel. The right hand. To take the right hand road. To turn to the right. If Yahushua HaMashiach turns to his right and does a sign, wonder, or miracle, he's still in the form of Yahuwah, Alua Elohim. If he turns to the left and does a sign, a wonder, or miracle, he's still in the form of Yahuwah, Alua Elohim. Nursing father. Don't let that go over your head. Being of long continuance. Father of continuity. Yahushua tells us many times who he is. Yahuwah tells us many times who he is. Never did Yahusha, contradict himself. He said, "There's no one beside me." So, if Yahushua HaMashiach is the right hand, and there's only one throne, he never said that there was a second throne. He never said there was throne number 2. He said, "I am Yahuwah, and beside me there's no Savior." And if we're saved, if we're rescued and provided the route of escape, and we're delivered from whatever it is we've been through, gone through, suffered through, been redeemed from, restituted, healed, right? If Yahushua HaMashiach is the one that did that, who does that make him? What does that make him? A faithful father of continuity. A faithful nursing father, like it says right here. Yada Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah forever and ever. Barak Yahuwah on high, to the highest of highs. Right now. Right this very second. Right this very minute. Right this very hour. You hear me? Y'all not hearing me? You don't hear me? Let's keep it going. To take the right hand road. Let's keep it up. Look it. To take the right hand road. H541. Look it up for yourself. You don't got to take my word for it. But it's clear as day. It's clear as this day outside I'm looking at through the window. Plain as day. To take the right hand road. Aman. It says, it's like, so help me. So shall it be. Let it be so. So be it. Truth. Some of you out there finish y'all's palals with petition and supplication and thanksgiving with Aman. A-M-A-N. Facts. Some of y'all have been doing it. A-M-A-T-S. Amats. A-M-A-T-H. Firmness. Steadfastness. Truthfulness is Yahushua HaMashiach Emmanuel, the mightiest man we know. The mightiest man that turned water into wine, that walked on water, that gave sight to the blind, that healed the leper. Gave sight, gave hearing to the deaf, gave health and strength, welfare and well-being to the poor, to the meek, to the lowly, to the handicapped, to the disabled. Mighty man. Mighty man. H544. AMAN. It goes down the page from H539 to H544. Don't let the spelling fool you. If you feel me knocking, don't let the spelling fool you. It's Aman. Emmanuel. All up and down. His name means to take the right hand road. The Most High. An Israelite desire of the Most High Yahuwah to take the right hand road. Emmanuel. Mighty man. Mightiest of mighty. I just wanted to put that out there into this crooked generation, this crooked nation we're living in. The evil and the wicked and the dark is present amongst us. Just because a lot of us who aren't aware or alert don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. It's definitely there. It's definitely real. And we have to stay in Palau. We have to stay close to the vest. We have to remain at the feet of Yahushua HaMashiach. We need to shed our tears there. We need to clean his feet there. Wash his feet. It shouldn't just be a one-sided transaction. It should be a two-sided street. Just like it's two sides to every story, two sides to every coin, right? If he's purifying us and cleansing us and washing us, purging us, we should be by his feet. Because there's never been a dull moment in my life. Once I've recognized and realized that Yahushua HaMashiach was on my shoulder, was next to me, riding along with me, riding alongside me. He was riding shotgun. He was carrying me. He was driving for me. There was times when I fell asleep behind the wheel. Yahushua HaMashiach drove my vehicle or woke me up behind the wheel of my vehicle. Yahushua HaMashiach broke hexes and vexes and hoodoo voodoo off of me. He broke word spells and word curses off me. He broke all the slander and the slang thrown at me. He broke all of the profane language thrown at me. He suspended every bondage of slavery, every yoke, every chain, every handcuff, every shackle, every lock. He broke those off me, and he freed me, so I can sit right here before you today and talk to y'all. Oh, he's letting me off the leash. Oh, watch out. Look out. He's letting me off the leash. Look here. And Yahuwah, Alua, all of him, he hates divorce, but Yahushua HaMashiach paid the cost for me to get out of that bad marriage. Paid the cost for me to get out of the torture and the torment and the turmoil I faced, the tumultuous roller coaster in my situationship, predicament, circumstance, my friendship, my relationship, my marriage that I had. He's the one that set me free. He came to me when I was on my hands and knees. I was calling him every dirty word. Calling his name to, bringing his name to nothing, bringing it to naught, saying all those paganisms, pagan words, pagan deities, and he still showed up for little old me. Still came to my aid, still came to my assistance, still lent to me that olive branch. Still reached down and pulled me up. Despite my flaws, despite my miscues and mishaps and mistakes, despite the spirit of error that I had found myself in, despite the error of my ways, the gratitude, the thankfulness and appreciation isn't even enough to describe or explain what Yahushua HaMashiach means to me. He saved the day, the evening, the night, the morning, the midday, the afternoon. He saved my grits, my backside. He sure did. Paid my house note. Paid my car note. Gave me financial security, financial stability, even when I lost it all. When I was going through my Job season, when I was down bad, when I felt like I was no good to nobody, not even myself, Yahushua HaMashiach, the mighty man that he is, gave me a reprieve, gave me a second chance, he's the reason for the season. He's the reason for my believing. He's the reason for the smile I be having on my face. He's the reason for my faith, my belief, my amanah, my trust, my hope, my confidence. He's the reason that we're all still alive. And I'm so happy and rejoiced that his thoughts, Yahuwah, the Most High Abba, Yahushua HaMashiach, Emmanuel, I'm so rejoiced and glad and happy that his thoughts are not our thoughts. His desires is not our desires. I am so relieved, because those of us who are dealing with our feelings, with our emotions, when we base everything off of compare and contrast, when we base everything off of who did what, the who, what, when, where, and why, we're placing this person on the pedestal, we're placing this person on the red carpet, we're putting this person high above others, we're thinking we're better than others. I'm glad and rejoiced. I'm happy that Yahuwah don't think that way. If he based his thoughts and desires on feelings and emotions like we do, because we're weaker than he is. Even though the man might be the stronger vessel and the woman might be the weaker vessel, but if he categorized his feelings and emotions, if he put that as the top notch, forefront as to how he operates and how he moves, We all be done for. We all be finished. We all be some goners. We all be out of here. Huh? Kaput. Finito. For the ones of you that speak Spanish out there. Huh? I owe my everything to Yahuwah. Alua Alahim, to Yahusha. Hamashiach. My life and even above and beyond that. I always wondered and pondered and asked, how could I ever repay you? Even just keeping the 10 words and the laws, statutes, commandments, I was like, what else can I do? What else can I do? I want to do more than just guard the words and keep the words and keep the commandments and guard the commandments. I need to get on there. I need to tell somebody that knows somebody that loves somebody to protect somebody and cover somebody, shield somebody. Because Yahusha is the strong tower and the shelter that I run to for my wants and needs when I'm craving, when I'm urging. More of him and less of us. Have it so where you're prolonging and praying for him to increase in you. For him to increase in you and you be less like yourself. More of him. Less of you. And being built in his image and likeness. You know who was the mightiest man built in his image and likeness? You said it right. Yahushua HaMashiach. Emmanuel. Yes, indeed. Make no bones about it. Make no mistake about it. Yahushua HaMashiach. Now we see why we are to walk and to talk as Yahushua HaMashiach did, Emmanuel, to relay messages as he did, to speak as he did, to carry ourselves as he did. Our temperament, our character, our personality, our attitude need to be like his. Not this snobby, jazzy, uptight, rude temperament that a lot of us be having. Not this harsh, blunt, and bold, and cocky, and arrogant temperament, character, attitude, personality that a lot of the people in the world has. We got to come out of that. We got to come up off of that. Because that is not of Yahuwah Alua Alahim. That is not of Yahushua HaMashiach to be blasting folks. Be blasting folks' problems and issues and troubles, right? It's not cool. It's not all right. Just because it makes you feel better or gets your emotions back in check doesn't make it okay. See, we got to have a reality check. We got to look ourselves in the mirror, because once we turn these phones off and we turn the internet off, and when they hit this grid and there's no more social media, it's back to the realization. It's back to reality. It's back to recognizing who you are in Yahushua HaMashiach, the body of Mashiach, the body of the Messiah. We got to get back to Ra. We got to get back to the ancient path, the ancient of days, the ancient road to righteousness. We need to get back to that. The last days is here. The end times is here. And it's been here. It's arrived. The final hours, the final countdown. Right? And we have to get ourselves together with Yahuwah Alua Alahim, with Yahushua HaMashiach. We got to get right. And the first thing Yahuwah has put on me was this topic right here, mighty men. There's don't get me wrong, there's mighty men out there on the forefronts, being front runners, and doing what they have to do, doing what they got to do, doing what they're told to do, what they're supposed to do. They're being obedient. All right, they standing in the gap. They standing in the trenches on the front lines, right? But then there's a lot of us. There's vast majority of us that aren't there. The workers are few. We need more mighty men, valiant, right, and triumphant, fearless. You follow me? Kingly. To be those priests and those messengers and those prophets. We got a lot of prophetess out there. Female ladies, women of Yahuwah out there grinding and hustling and busting their bricks. Busting their chops to get Yahuwah's word, which is Alua Elohim breathed out there. But where's the mighty men at? I, for one, am answering the bell, and this cannot be understated. And there's some brothers that I've seen that go to bat, that are on fire, for Yahuwah, Yahusha HaMashiach, they're turned up, they're amped up, they revved up, they riled up, fired up. And that's how me gonna be. That's how I am. That's how I'm gonna be. But it's like what you do for Yahuwah. Sometimes, mostly it's in secret. Yes, mostly it's private. Mostly we're hidden in plain sight. But at the same time, sometimes he's gonna need you to be public with it. He's gonna have to utilize your temple that is of Yahuwah, Alua Elohim, to be good publicized with it. So keep that in mind as well as we go throughout this lesson today. Again, I want to say to to all the viewers, if you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. If you liking the content and this is satisfying and gratifying for you, this is edifying for you and it's convicting for you, hit that subscribe button. Go on, hit the bell icon while you're at it. This is all natural. This is all organic. This is all authentic. This is all original. I'm not finna be editing anything. I'm not finna cut nothing out. I'm putting the entire video up there. I'm putting the whole stream up there. So if you miss something, you can go back and rewind it. You can fast forward it. You can pick up where you left off. You can turn the captions on. Whatever you need to do. You can watch it on your TV set, your iPad, your cell phone, like I'm using right here. And do what you got to do. All for Yahuwah. It's all about Yahuwah. Okay? All right? So, let me put that back over here. Right? And I already showed y'all. I kind of showed y'all where we was going to take it. Where Ruach HaKodesh is leading me at today. But, just for the ones that might just be tuning in a little late, and for the ones that's going to, skip and breeze through and see where the good parts are at. So we're going to go to the prophets. And this is where, see that right there? See the prophets, Nabim, right down there where it says 2 Samuel. Y'all see that? Right there. And then let's go over here where it says the Ketuvim, the writings. Down there at the Ketuvim and the writings, we got First Chronicles down there. And we're going to touch on that today. All right? All right. Okay. So I got my scriptures already ready to go. Got my other little witness right here. Now let me get the witness also pulled up. That way I ain't gotta skip around too much. Okay, let's start the reading. We're in 2 Samuel, chapters 23. And this all goes together, by the way. It all goes together. It all ties in one to another. Okay. Let's go over to verse number 8. This is about King Dawood. You know, King David. And how he had mighty men under his tutelage, under his leadership. Okay? All right? So let's read. Let's start at verse 8. These are the names of the mighty men whom Dawood had. Yaseb, Bashabath, the Takamanite, chief among the officers. He was Adino, the Atsnite, for 800 slain at one time. Y'all hear that? 800 slain at one time. At one time. Now that is a mighty man, if I ever heard of one. This is the type of changing of the guard. This is the type of mentality the men of Yahuwah, the man of Yahuwah that may be watching this, you know, the man of Yahuwah sitting right here amongst you, before you. We have to get back to being royalty, you know, being a part of a royal priesthood. That technicality, by default, we should be considering ourselves mighty, noble, humble, humility, all those things. You know what I'm talking about? The way that we dressed, the modesty for the males and the females, for the men and the women of Yahuwah, down to the child, if you can help it, right? So, let's continue to read. And after him was Alazar, son of Dado, the Ahoite, one of the three mighty men with Dawood, when they taunted the Philistines who gathered there for battle, and the men of Yasharal had gone up. He arose and struck the Philistines until his hand was weary, but his hand clung to the sword. So Yahuwah brought about a great deliverance that day, and the people returned after him only to plunder. And after him was Shammah, son of Age the Hararite. And the Philistines had gathered into a company where there was a plot of ground covered with lentils. And the people fled from the Philistines, but he took his stand in the middle of the field and delivered it and struck the Philistines. And Yahuwah wrought a great deliverance. And 3 of the 30 chief men, 30, y'all heard that, remember that, went down at harvest time and came to Dawood at the cave of Adullam, while the army of Philistines encamped in the valley of Raphaim. And Dawood was then in the stronghold, while a watchpost of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And Dawood longed and said, "Oh, that someone would give me a drink of the water from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." And the three mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water from the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to Dawood. But he would not drink it, but poured it out to Yahuwah. And he said, "Far be it from me, O Yahuwah, to do this, the blood of the men who went at the risk of their lives." So he would not drink it. This is what the three mighty men did. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, son of Tisarua, Ruya, I don't want to butcher that, was chief of another three, and he lifted his spear against 300 men whom he slew. Wow. And Abishai, the brother, y'all heard that? The brother of Joab, son of Saruya, was chief of another three, and he lifted his spear against 300 men. And he slain 300 men, had a name among these three. Was he not the most esteemed of three? And he became their commander, but he did not come to the first three. And Benayahu has the son of Yehoyada. Yehoyada, son of a brave man from Kabsaal, great in deeds. He struck 2 lion-like men of Moab, and he went down and struck a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. Y'all see, these mighty men was getting to work, wasn't they? They was getting to work. I'm talking about they was putting in some hard labor, some back-breaking work. See, the mighty men that we got nowadays, man, we're just scratching the surface too much. We're not going into depth. We got to go into depth and give people more of Yahuwah HaMashiach, Emmanuel. We got to give the folks more, because without substance, like, what do we have? If we're not giving a substantial case for believing in Yahusha, then what are we doing? We're getting in the way. You know, we should be rolling over somewhere and letting and allowing the mighty men that want to take on the job, you know, work that out on behalf of our Father's business. You know, the Most High Abba, Yahuwah. But wow, struck the lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day, and he struck a Matzrite, an impressive man, and the Matzrite had a spear in his hand, so he went down to him with a staff, wrested the spear out of the Mitzrite's hand, and killed him with his own spear. This is what Benayahu, son of Yehoyada, did, and had a name among 3 mighty men. He was more esteemed than the 30, but he did not come to the first 3. And Dawood set him over his guard. Asahel, the brother of Joab, was one of the 30. Alhanan, son of Dada of Bethlehem, Shammah the Haradite, Alakiah, the Haradite, Halatz, the Paltite, Era, son of Akash, the Takwaite, Bezer, the Anathuite, Mabunai, the Hushatite, Salmon, the Ahuite, Maharai, the Natafatite, Natafatite. If I'm saying that correctly, let me take a look at the witness. Yep, Natafatite. Yep, Halam, son of Banaya. Yes, the Natafatite. Itai, son of Ravi, from Gibeah of the children of Benjamin, Vanayahu, the Parathonite, Hiddai, from the Wadis of Gaash, Abi Alban, the Arbathite, Asmawat, the Barhumite, Aliyaba, the Sha'albanite, of the sons of Yashin, Yahunathan, Yahunathan, Shama, the Hararite, Ayam, son of Sharar, the Hararite, Aliphalat, son of Ahasbai, son of the Maakathite, Aliyam, son of Ahithophel, the Gilonite, Hasrai, the Carmelite, Paarai, the Arbite, Yigal, son of Nathan of the Tesaba, Bani, the Gadite, Tasalek, the Ammonite, Naharai, the Beerothite, Baarathite, armor bearer. Look at that. Armor bearer. You know what armor that is? The full armor of Yahuwah. Of Yaab, son of Tisharuyahu. Ira, the Yithrite, Garab, the Yithrite, and Uriyahu, the Hittite. 37 in all. So there's some numbers that I recall calling out, and the numbers were 3, 30, and 37. Why don't we look that up real quick in our Strong's Concordance? Let's get that. Right? Let's get that pulled up. Let's do that. Go to the Hebrew section, and we said H, and the number is 3. So those were all the names of the mighty men who was cleaning up the land. They was like really doing a number on the threats in the land of inheritance, and that's what a mighty man is supposed to do. Take charge, take control, and lead with dominion and authority that we were given. Number 3. So it says here, greenness, fruit, that the land. They was protecting the land, shielding the land, covering the land, keeping the land, guarding the land. They was upholding justice. They was being uplifting to the people. They was being brought up and raised up in Yahuwah's shelter, Yahuwah's shadow, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, Emmanuel. Look at that. Let's do H24 because it's a reference there. There's a reference there. Yep. Green. Shows the green right there. What we said. H. Number 30. Abihu. Abihu. Primitive. For the word father. immediate, figurative, chief, father, forefathers, patrimony, principle. The article inserted, father of Azrite and Abizarite, or descendant of Abizer, the Abizarites. H33. Scroll down to H37. Father of Du, Abital, a wife of King Dawood. I don't recall reading Abital, but I do recall that number. The number of the amount of mighty men under the jurisdiction of King Dawood. Age 37. Right there. Plain as day. Let's go down to age 44. Abizer, father of help. Look at that. Abizer, the name of 2 Israelites. And we had 3 names in particular under King Dawood at the time. So that's 2 Israelites in H44. The third would be this name, Abital, the wife. Which I didn't read. We didn't read that. But at the same time, it's like the wife and the man are one. So that should be counted. Let's go to 29:19 and see what that entails. And break this stuff down, Barney style. Shall we? 29:19 states, Ta'al, do, from H2926, to strew over, to cover. Y'all see that? To cover, in or plate. Ta'al, to cover. That's what they was doing. They was covering each other's backs. Like they had each other's backs. They were supporting each other. Like how people say in the world, you know, I got your back, right? Or I got your 6. Things like that. That's what the 37, 3 in particular, 37 total, were doing for King Dawood in the land. The land is what? Green. When you fly in an airplane and you looking out the window, if you got a window seat, all you see is green. So it was a fruitful number, number 3. The 3 that were under King Dawood's charge. That is a fruitful number. Right? Okay. 5829. Let's go a little further. 5829. I thought we was done with the Strong's Concordance, but apparently not. Ruach HaKodesh had other plans. 5829. Yes. Almost there. Right here. And it says, Azer, the name of 4 Israelites. Azer, the name of 2 Israelites. And then there's the name of 4 Israelites. Right there. And we just read over the names. We just read over the names in the witness. Let's get the witness pulled up. These were the words of Yahuwah. Well, yes, the scriptures itself is the word of Yahuwah, but this particular chapter in 2 Samuel 23 was King Dawood speaking. King Dawood talking about the things that he was gifted and granted and given access to, you know, the men that was appointed and assigned to him to be under him, under his influence. And they became the mighty men of Dawood. You got Adino the Aznite, Adinu the Aznite, slew speared 800. Slew them at one time. Wow. And the list goes on and on and on. I want to break down a few of the scriptures. We read a lot, so I want to break down a couple of them, right? So, 9 and 10, chapter 23. Verse 9 and 10 says, and after him was Al-Azar, son of Dada, the Ahuite, one of the 3 mighty men. That was one of the mighty men with Dawood, King Dawood, when they taunted the Philistines who were gathered there for a battle. Y'all see that? Not that they're instigating or provoking anything or poking the bear. You know, they're not pressing for any action, but they not ducking it either. You see what I'm saying? They not ducking and dodging and running. They not hiding from the smoke. You see what I'm talking about? So they already knew that the Philistines was going to be a threat. Those 3 in particular mighty men that was named dropped in the beginning of the chapter. They went ahead and was like, you know what? They gonna be a problem. We might as well take them out now. Ruach HaKodesh in my system. Run through me. Run through me. Hey, they gonna be an issue. So we might as well get them out the way. Huh? Straight up. Look at that. He arose and struck the Philistines until his hand was weary. He was beating them down till his hand got tired. Wow. Y'all heard that, right? Beating them down till his hand was weary. And you know, Yahushua HaMashiach say, come to me, who all of you who are heavily burdened and who are weary, right? But his hand clung to the sword. So he still was cleaving to his sword, even though his hand was tired. All right? So that's how the almighty men got to be. We got to get on here and we got to let the people know. And if anybody asks you on the street corners, they ask you outside these buildings and these temples, you know, why you dress like that, or why you look like that, or why you appear like that, or why why you shining, why you gleaming, why you glimmering in it, right? Like gold. We got to be mighty enough to tell it. Straight like that. Look at that. But his hand clung to the sword, so Yahuwah brought about a great deliverance that day. So he gave them more rapport. You know? He gave them more of a rhetorical. He gave them extra to get through that to get through that day. He reached down and brought them through. Brought them through the fight, brought them through the battle, brought them through that attack, that war, whatever you want to call it. He delivered them from the weariness and the heat of the moment, the heat of the battle. Yahuwah was still there. Dawood was speaking to Yahuwah, like he was like Yahuwah's breath, his spirit, his ruach was on King Dawood. His right hand was on King Dawood. That's why he gave him so many. That's why he gave him so many times where he gave him so many warriors. I should say he gave him so many soldiers because he was obeying the voice of Yahuwah. He he had the fear of Yahuwah, right? He had the counsel, he had the equity, he had the love, he had the power, the sound mind, all of that. That he had the whole, every spiritual matter intact. King Dawood did. And it says, and the people returned after him only to plunder. Let's see what the witness says. Right quick. Let me go over there. These names. Okay. Yep. After him, Alazar, who when they defied the Philistines that were there gathered to a battle, and the men of Yasharal were gone away, he arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clave into the sword, and the Elohim Elohim wrought a great victory, and the people returned after him only to spoil. So it's Yahuwah is a man of war. So if we're fighting for his cause, mighty men, you mighty men out there, if we're fighting for his just due, giving all of the credit where it's due, because it belongs to him. He's worthy and deserving of us fighting for his cause, for his business, for his reign, for his kingdom that is to come, that is at stake. He's going to give us the victory. The spirit of victory is already in the Messiah. The spirit of the Messiah that's right here. simple and plain as that. Can't cut it, slice it, wear it any more simplified, any easier than that. The spirit of victory is in the spirit of Messiah. We already won, and he's gonna give us the victory when we go to into battle, into the fight, into the war. We got to get into the fight, us mighty men, because it's a fight over our soul. It's a fight over our spirit. Yeah, understand. And these mighty men already recognized and realized it from the rip. Like they spirit not like ours. They soul not like ours. We not aligned. We not connected. So this communication, this cooperation finna be all off, all out of whack. So we gotta oust them. We gotta off them. You know? let's get another one. Let's get another one. Let's go down a few more verses. Right there. Where is it at? 20 and 21. Same chapter. 2 Samuel, verse 23. 2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 21. It reads, and Bani-Yahu was the son of Yada, son of a brave man from Kab Saul, great in deeds. He struck 2 lion-like men of Moab, struck 2 of them down. And he went down and struck a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. That's 3 getting struck down. And we discussed, we conversated about the number 3. And he struck a Mizraite, an impressive man, and the Mizraite had a spear in his hand, so he went down to him with a staff, wrested the spear out of the Mizraite's hand, wrestled this spear out of that Mizraite's hand, and killed him with his own spear. The Mizraite had a spear. The Israelite had a staff. He wrestled the spear out of the Mizraite. The Israelite wrestled the staff out the Mizraite hand and killed the Mizraite with his own spear, with his own weapon. That's some might right there. That is mighty as mighty can be. Look at that. Look at that. Y'all are hearing this. Beautiful. That is Yafa. That is Yafa. Let's get the witness. Huh? Let's get the witness right there. Boom. And Benaiah, the son of, you know the rest, the son of a valiant man, mighty man, who had done many acts. He slew two lion-like men. Moab went down, also slew a lion in the midst of the pit in the time of snow. Slew an Egyptian. Goodly man. And the Egyptian had the spear in his hand, but he went down with the staff, plucked the spear out of the Egyptian hand, slew him with his own spear. Look at that. Mighty men. 2 Samuel. Let's go down a few more. We go back to the reading scriptures. Let's go back to the reading scriptures. He was more esteemed than the 30, but he did not come to the first 3. And Dawood set him over his guard. Banayahu. This the one. Banayahu is the one that stood out. Yada did and had a name among 3 men. Yeah. Banayahu stood out. Let me go to the witness. 23. He was more honorable. See that? More valiant. More esteemed. More exalted. More mightier than the 30, but he attained not to the first 3. And Dawood set him over his guard. David set him over his guard. See that? And it's like when you're showing yourself approved, right? It's like showing yourself approved, and you studying research, like Yahuwah is gonna reward that and give an award for that. He's gonna bring you up, raise you up, place you where you belong. Because it's gonna be levels to the kingdom. It's gonna be levels to, we're gonna be kingly. All the Malaks and Malakas, we're gonna be kingly. We're gonna have like the white robes on once we finish doing all this work for the Father's business. We're gonna have on the studs. We're gonna be crowned. You see what I'm saying? So it's worth. He's worthy and deserving. It's worth the battle. It's worth the fight. To fight for righteousness. That's why you got it. That's why he says to keep fighting the good fight of faith. Right there. Amunah. Let's go over to First Chronicles, y'all. Let's take you over there. First Chronicles. The chapter is 11. First Chronicles chapter 11. We're going to read 10 to we're going to read verse 10 to 47. Pretty much whole chapter, but it's a point that has to be made here. You understand? So let's get the witness all dressed up too. First Chronicles, boom, boom, pow. Right there. Right there. Let's get that out there. So don't forget to hit like and comment if you feel led to do so. Okay? All right. Let's get that out there. Put that right here for the moment. Let's get to reading. Starting at verse number 10. And these were the heads of the mighty men whom Dawood had, who strengthened themselves with him in his reign. Y'all see that? With all Yasharal, to set him up to reign over Yasharal according to the word of Yahuwah. And this is the number of the mighty men whom Dawood had. Yashab son of a Hakmonite, chief of the 30, there's that number again, he had lifted up his gear. Uh, pardon me, Shalakia. He had lifted up his spear against 300 slain at one time, and after him was Al-Azar, son of Dadu. See, this is the witness, First Chronicles to Second Samuel that we just was going over. The Ahuite, who was one of the 3 mighty men. He was with Dawood at Pasdamim, and the Philistines were gathered there for battle, and a portion of the field was filled with barley, greenness, plant, fruit, just like the number 3 in Strong's Concordance, H3. Y'all can look that up on your own. You'll see. And the people had fled before the Philistines, but they took their stand in the midst of that field and delivered it and struck the Philistines. Thus Yahuwah saved them by a great deliverance. And 3 of the 30 chiefs went down to the rock to Dawood into the cave of Adullam, while the army of the Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim. And Dawood was then in the stronghold, and the watchpost of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And Dawood longed and said, "Oh, that someone would give me a drink of water from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." And the 3 broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water from the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to Dawood. But Dawood would not drink it, but poured it out to Yahuwah. And he said, "Far be it from me, O my Eluah Elohim, that I should do this. Should I drink the blood of these men who have risked their lives? For at the risk of their lives they brought it." And he would not drink it. This is what the 3 mighty men did. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, was chief of another 3. And he had lifted up his spear against 300 men. Count, that's a lot. Who were slain, and won a name among the 3. Of the 3, he was more esteemed than the other 2 men. So he became their head. More esteemed, more exalted. You see that? More valued, more honorable. There it is again, right there. However, he did not come to the first 3. Banayahu was the son of Yada, the son of a brave man from Kabsaal, who had done many deeds. He struck 2 lions like Moabites, 2 lion-like Moabites, right? He also went down and struck a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. And he struck a Mitzrite, a man of great height, 5 cubits tall. And in the Mitzrite's hand was a spear like a weaver's beam. And he went down to him with a staff and wrenched the spear out of the Mitzrite's hand and killed him with his own spear. This is what Banayahu, son of Yada, did, and won a name among the 3 mighty men. See, he was more esteemed. There it is. Esteemed, valiant, honorable, mightier than the 30. But he did not come to the first 3, and Dawood set him over his court. And the mighty men of the armies were Asa'al, the brother of Joab, Al-Hanan, son of Dada, of Bethlehem, Shamat the Hararite, Halatz the Palonite, Ira, son of Ikash the Taquaite, Abizer the Anathothite, Sabakai the Hushathite, Eli the Ahuite, Maharai the Nataphaite, Halad, son of Banana, the Nataphaite, Attai, son of Rabbi, of Geba, of the children of Benjamin, Benaiah, the Pirathonite, Harai of the Wadis of Gaash, Abial, the Arbathite, Azmawat, the Baharamite, Al Yabah, the Sha'abanite, the sons of Hashem, the Gazanite, Yanathan, son of Shagai, the Hara'ite, Ayam, son of Sakar, the Hara'ite, Alifal, son of Hafar, the Makarathite, Ahiyahu, the Palanite, Hatzro, the Carmelite, Naarai, son of Azbai, Ya'al, the brother of Nathan, Mibbar, son of Hagri, Tesalak, the Ammonite, Naharai, the Barathite, the armor bearer of Yaab, son of Tesaruya, Era, the Yithrite, Garab, the Yithrite, Uriah, the Hittite, Zabad, son of Alai, Adina, son of Shiza, the Reubenite, the head of the Reubenites, and 30 with him, Hanan, son of Ma'akah, and Jehoshaphat, the Mithnite, Uzziah, the Ashtar Rathite, Shama, and Yael. There you go. The sons of Hatham, the Arahite. Yadia'al, son of Shimri, and Yahah, his brother, the Tishite. Ali'al, the Mahawite, and the Mahawite, and Yaribai, and Yashaya, the sons of Al-Na'am, Yithma, the Moabite, Ali'al, and Abed, and Ya'ashi'al of Matsabaya. So you see, let's get the witness over here. Chapter 11. So you see, as mentioned in the previous video about King Dawood, his reign was a gift from Yahweh. He granted him access. He gave him an anointing. He ordained his kinsmanship. You follow me? He's doing what Yahweh set him out to do. He's like upholding, uplifting Jerusalem. He's like keeping Jerusalem in good standings, in good hands. He's being a protector. As mighty men here that we read, they're protectors. Us mighty men, me being a mighty man, and all of you out there watching that are going to be mighty men as well. You're a mighty man in your household or whatever have you. If you're single or bachelor or whatever it is, you have the ball in your court. It's in the palm of your hands. Dawood's mighty men were. So we shall be. This passage, this precept, line upon line, right? Precept upon precept. This whole parable was an explanation of King Dawood's reign as a mighty king, as a mighty man, and those that were underneath him. They were at Bethlehem and Jerusalem, and were they was rounding they was rounding them up. They was rounding them up over there. They was being courageous. They was being brave. This is what a mighty man looked like. Right here, can't miss it. This is what a mighty man's supposed to do. Right here. We're supposed to build from ground up. If we got a family, we're the constant staple. If it's just you stand in the gap. You stand in the trenches. You a prayer warrior. See what I'm saying? That's a mighty man. Something along those lines. You have to have a valiant effort. The time that we're given, you have to put your energy towards, showing and being a direct reflection of Yahuwah, of Yahushua HaMashiach, Emmanuel. We have to be that. We have to come out of our comfort zone to do that, though. It's too many men that's in their comfort zone. You got to move out your comfort zone. I know it feels good. It feels great to be convenienced, to be comfortable, to be cozy. But how can we call ourselves mighty if all we doing is seeking out comfort and coziness, comfortability? When Yahushua HaMashiach say move, that's what we gotta do. We gotta jump snap to it. Like white on rice. Like a drop of a hat, drop of a dime. We gotta be on top of it. We gotta be on it. Because if it's not that, what we doing? What we doing? Not much. There it is right here. They had Jerusalem under lock and key. King Dawood and his mighty men had it under lock and key. They fought for it. They guarded it. They blockaded. The threats. They got rid of the enemies, the adversaries. Took them out. One by one. Slain, slayed, slew them. Whatever word you want to stick in there and put in there. That fits the bill. They put on for our Father in heaven. They put on for him. At the well in Bethlehem, they was putting on for him. In battle, in the fight, in the thick of it, they was putting on for him. They was strong. Right? That's the definition of a mighty man, right? Strong like Alua, like Elohim. And he gave them the extra strength when they got tired and they got weary, when they was struggling. He long suffered with them. He gave them extra, like I said, gave them more power, more love, more dignity, more of him, more faithfulness, more dedication, more loyalty, more commitment, more everything. So we as mighty men, we gotta do more. In a nutshell, when it all comes down to it, we gotta do more. We gotta push these videos out, man. It don't matter how long they is or how short they is. We gotta sit here and if we're waiting on Alua, Elohim to return. The least we could do is be mighty in his stead, in his place, until he cracked that sky. You understand me? So I wanna reread one of the verses. I want to reread verse 15 in chapter 11 of First Chronicles, right? And 3 of the 30 chiefs, look at it, went down to the rock, to Dawood, into the cave of Adullam, while the army of the Philistines encamped in the valley of Raphaim. Let me go pull the witness. Now 3 of the 30 captains, priests, chiefs, captains, y'all get the picture, went down to the rock, to Dawood, into the cave of Adullam, and the host of the Philistines encamped in the valley. So it was like these mighty men of King Dawood included, they met up at the summit to get busy. You understand? They met at the summit like, hey, meet me here, and we can do this. We can knuckle up. We can square up, and we can put it down. We can go in. We can bust. We can bust you right here and there. You know, they was not no hesitation. No, they didn't have cold feet. They didn't have no. They didn't have no fear. They were not afraid. They was not scared. They was not intimidated. You know. They fought. They fought for real. They fought for our Alua, our Elohim. They fought for our Abba, the Most High King. They fought. You know. So I wanted to make mention of that because I found that verse very, very interesting. Like they met them there at the well. They met them Philistines right there. Like, you ain't gotta wait for us. We come see you. Wherever you at, here we come. Where you at? Line it up. You know? Let's square up. They yeah. That's the type of mighty man we need to get back to. I'm not saying that we gotta go out here looking for no fight now. I'm just symbolically speaking. It's not like we gotta go out there and, you know, pick a fight and start stuff and instigate stuff and, you know, begin, you know, wood fires and, you know what I'm saying, and doing all that, drawing lines in the sand. I'm just saying we got to stand up for what we believe in, what we have faith in, what we have hope and trust and confidence in, which is in Messiah, which is in Alua Elohim, Yahuwah, Yahushua HaMashiach, Emmanuel. That is what I'm getting at. That is what I'm saying. We can't stand by the sidelines and be on hush mode and be silent and be quiet, except for in those times where it requires that. You know, when we're trying to hear from Yahuwah what's next, you know, if we're in isolation or something like that. But outside of isolation, we need to have our face right here, like, boom, what's up? Like, boom, hello, how are you? How you doing? Like, we need to be on the front lines, on the forefront. We need more forerunners. More forerunners, like so. All right, so let's do one last chapter. Just one precept, just one line, one verse. First Chronicles chapter 12, and the verse is number 4. It says here, and Yishmaiah the Gibeonite, a mighty man among the 30, and over the 30, and Yarmiah and Yahaziel, and Yohanan, and Yazabad the Gadarathite. Let's get the witness. And Ismaiah, the Gibeonite, mighty man among the 30, and over the 30, and Jeremiah, and and Yahaza'al, and Jonathan and Joseph. It's this is the names of Dawood's men at the place called Ziklag. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but at Ziklag. This is the number of men, like the symbolic number back then. You hear 3, right? You hear 30, right? You hear 33, 37. It's like it was numbers and numbers of men that was mighty. And this in these days and age in today's time, we only got onesies, twosies. We got some here, some there. Onesies, twosies. Yahuwah says, he used, Yahushua HaMashiach, he's going to deploy us, send us out, activate us, mobilize us 1 by 1, 2 by 2, and we are not to take our, our wallets and, purses and fanny packs and, all that stuff that he mentioned. Like there was mighty men by the dozens in those times. And we have to get back to those times. The number scheme. You see what I'm saying? There's a trend there. You see that trend? There's a cycle there where the numbers were on repeat. So before I close this out, right? I wanna let's put that back up there. I wanna go back into Strong's just to refresh everybody's memory. That in times like these, we're gonna need our men. We're gonna need our men to really be on top of it. You know what I'm talking about? So let's do the Hebrew section of the Strong's Concordance and pull up these numbers. Because if you add these numbers up, you clearly see what Yahuwah was trying to convey. Because there's certain numbers, that are synonymous, with Yahuwah. And he specifically drew it up like that, designed it by design like that. So let's get the understanding of that really quickly. I'm gonna just go to number 36, right? It says, you remember back in the chapters where it says three of mighty men, 33 men, or it'll say 30 men, right? So if we do the math, you got 30. It says H30 says Abihu, father, worshiper of him, right? Abihu, a son of Aaron, Abihu. H1, same deal. Went over there earlier. 1931. I don't recall going over that, but I will revisit it just to double check before we get out of here. 1931. Boom. It says primitive word for the third person, only expressing emphatic, intensively, self, same, sometimes, occasionally, he as for him, herself, the same, she, herself, such, they, this, those, which. You see what I'm talking about? In the numbers. He had them in droves. Yahuwah had them in droves. He had them on rotation. You see, a lot of people don't catch that at the Pentateuch, beyond the Pentateuch. See that? And y'all look up what Pentateuch means, because it's spelled Pentateuch. Leave that in the comments, because I'm gonna look it up too. Not right now, but after I'm done with this video, when the Ruach HaKodesh is through with me. But Going down the list, you see it. H30, reference, witness H1, H1931, H1 over there, H3, reference and witness H24, H30, H31, it says Abihud, H1 in 1935, father, possessor of the renown, the name of 2 Israelites. It's just so immaculate how Yahuwah put all that together like that. 1935, what it says. Had, grander, splendor, allure. You know what I'm talking about? Beauty, comeliness, excellency, right? Honor, majesty, majestic, you name it. Had, right? Had like hold. Yod he, uahe. So Yod, hold, H 1935. You'll see it right there. You keep going down the page. H32, Abi Hayil. H1 and H2428, witnesses right there. Reference. The name of 3 Israelites and 2 Israelites. Right there. 2428 says what? Let's see. Go down the page. Right? Hayil. Probably a force, whether of men. You see that? Forces of men, resources, an army, wealth, virtue, valor, strength, able activity, army, band of men, band of soldiers, band of warriors. You know what I mean? Company, forces, great forces. Look at that. Might, power, riches, strength, strong, substance, trained, valiant, valiantly valor, virtuous, virtuously war, worthy. All of that. You see that? That's the description of a mighty man on this Aras, on this earth. This is what we got to get back to doing. 2428. Boom. Right there. H33. Abizer. From H44. Right down there. Father of help. Abizer. Name of the 2 Israelites. You can't make this up. I'm looking directly at it, and you can too. H34. It says H14 as a witness. To breathe. To be acquiesced. Consent. Right? Rest. Consensual, be willing. Will. Right there. And this is the will of Yahuwah. Is for man to be mighty. That's the will of Yahuwah right there. Case in point. In the sense of want, especially in feeling destitute, right? Okay. That's H34. H35, same deal. Desire. It goes right back to H14. To breathe. Consent, be consensual, will, be willing. You go down to H36, father of greatness, goodness. Right there. Abitub, an Israelite. 2898. Let's go over there. And it says, in the widest sense, especially goodness, greatness, right? Best, concretely best, beauty, gladness, welfare, fair, gladness, good, goodness, good thing, goods, joy, go well with. And it's referencing, it says tub right there. Tub, like Broka tub. Boker tub is like good morning, great morning, or grand rising for whoever y'all out there. Divine sunrise, the grand divine, or divine morning, divine sunrise. Layla tub, good night, good evening, whatever have you. Great day. You know what I'm talking about? And then it references 28.95. So let's go up there a little piece. It says tub again. To do or make good, great or well in the widest sense. Be better and cheer. Be good, do good, seem good, goodly, make goodly, pleasure, pleasing, well, be well, do well, go well, play well. Look at that. And this is how Yahuwah, Yahushua HaMashiach, want us men to move. So this is all she wrote for today's lesson. My beloveds, Ox and Akadis, all the Kodashim, all the Mishpachah, all the chosen ones, select few, chosen few. This will be the end of today's study, today's lesson. You know, please, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you like and leave a comment, subscribe, you know, hit the bell icon, you know, come back and visit again. You know, come back and visit again. There's more. I'm sure there's more that Yahuwah will uncover and unveil and reveal to me in due time, in due season. I mean, it is because of his might that brought me to this destination, that brought me to this station, that brought me to this channel, this account. For those of you out there in YouTube land, YouTubeville, this is gonna be what it is going forward until there's no more breath in me and there's no more longer any reason to be on socials. When they go and confiscate it and we can't be here no more, then hey, I did my part. You know, I did my portion, and to Yahuwah, Alua Alahim be all of the worship. Be unto him, be with him, be upon him, belongs to him. And you know, Yada Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barakatah, Yahusha HaMashiach, Bahashem, Yahusha HaMashiach, Emmanuel. And this was a joyous occasion. I enjoy myself. This is the sweet spot for me. You know, just getting into the word and just dive in and just discovering, you know, newness more and more. You're gonna see something else every time. That's just what I saw when I was reading, and I'm just being a vessel, being that temple of Yahuwah. I'm just sharing, putting it out there, planting the seed, sowing the seed, hoping it gets watered and it blossoms and blooms and grows into something bigger and better than it was before. You know, he or she, him or her, whoever out there that will be tuning in, you know, to this video. I'm Emmanuel, and this has been a privilege and a pleasure to have the opportunity, to have the chance, to have a shot at sitting here and being amongst you all. And until the next time, Kwam Yasharal, Shalom, Shalom.